What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of Detection Engineering with me, your host, Tim Frazier. All right, today we're going to talk about detection engineering with MITRE ATT&CK, right? MITRE ATT&CK, so hot right now. Starting with the last part of my definition from the first video, detecting adversary or unwanted behavior. Now, the question is, how do we define adversary or unwanted behavior? Well, thank you, MITRE ATT&CK. That's how we define it. Do we do all the things in MITRE ATT&CK though? Nope, definitely not. So the question is, how do we decide? Yes, that is the question. The short answer of how we decide is that the tech platforms and threat model, okay? What do you mean by that? Well, first, you make a quick assessment of your assets, okay? What are your most valuable data? Where is it? And what are your most valuable operational assets? Your web servers that run your e-commerce business, your OT infrastructure that runs your power grid, whatever it is. And then whatever tech platforms, such as Linux, Windows, infrastructure as a service, etc., those are using now becomes your high priority. Okay, I know it's easier said than done, but then you also include other platforms as medium or low priorities. Okay, so you've got your platforms. Now, this allows you to filter the attack matrix down to focus only on the techniques that pertain to those tech platforms. How do you do that? I'll show you in a sec. Then next, you look at your threat model. Okay, which adversary groups are targeting your industry or your geographies that you operate in? Got that? Cool. I know I went through that in like 5 seconds. It's easier said than done, but there are plenty of folks out here to help, right? Some of the authors of MITRE ATT&CK and industry professionals have, talked about this ad nauseum, but that's kind of the bottom line. So once you determine those threat groups, you can now cross-section that with the tech platforms and get your prioritized matrix of techniques to focus on. All right, now let's dive into the MITRE ATT&CK project and show you how to do that. All right, so here we are at the MITRE ATT&CK Navigator. I'll give you guys this link in the chat if you don't have it. Otherwise, just Google ATT&CK Navigator. It's pretty easy. When you first pull it up, right, there's going to give you the options. You can either open existing layer, create a new layer. Boom, let's just create a new one from Enterprise. Now, again, if you start with this, it can be overwhelming, right? So we don't want to start thinking about how do we detect everything on this. Let's just scope it down. So remember, we talked about the ability to filter or kind of scope it down on tech platforms. So let's just say that your Linux techniques are your high priority ones, right? So you can see there's all these different tech platforms that MITRE tracks. We're just going to filter down to Linux. All right. Oh man, we still have a lot, right? So we didn't get rid of quite as many as I wanted. Now let's start with looking at a particular threat group. So the way we can do that, we go to this search and multi-select. Let's say we want to focus on a particular threat group and let's just pick on APT29. All right. So if we hit select, now it'll select all the techniques and sub-techniques that correspond to APT29. Close out of this, we'll pull back up. Now, what we can do is we can go ahead and fill these in with a particular color. And let's just say these are going to be our top priority ones, right? So we'll just go ahead and mark these a dark red, right? Lovely. Actually, let's make it a little bit. I don't know. That's good. All right. We'll go with that. I'm not a color guy. My wife's like picking colors for our bathroom. And I swear she puts 3 different splotches on the wall. They look the same to me, but she says they're different colors. All right. So we've got these selected. Now, one of the cool things you can do is let's just go ahead and deselect. Now watch this. I want to hide all the ones that don't correspond to Linux and to this particular APT. So what I can do is right click. I can say select unannotated, which is basically going to be all of them that I haven't applied something to. And then I can say toggle state, right, which says these are going to be disabled. And then I can click on the eyeball to show hide disabled. Boom. Now I've filtered it down. Now you notice that some of these have, they're kind of grayed out for the parent technique, but then in the sub technique, there's a particular sub technique that corresponds to that threat group. That's fine, right? You can do a couple different ways. You could expand all annotated sub techniques, but then it's, pretty hard to fit on one page. So usually what I like to do is just collapse them and then we can drill into it as necessary. All right. So now we have a, particular set of techniques that focus on a particular tech platform and a particular threat group. So this, let's say APT29 and Linux was the combination, the cross section that I most cared about. This would be where I would start. These are my high priority techniques. All right. So hopefully that helps you kind of think through how to use MITRE ATT&CK in a manageable way, right? Because it's so huge. There's so many different things. This is kind of help you scope it down and think about what you should focus on first, what you should prioritize, right? That's a key, because it's always going to be more than you can do. It's easy to get overwhelmed. It's easy to, flail about and not have a good place to start. So trying to help you think about where to start, how to use MITRE ATT&CK to make it work for you. So if you got any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, we'd love to see comments down below. Feel free to reach out. Also, I didn't mention on the last video, but I'm at Tim Frazier 1 on Twitter. If anybody cares, I have a LinkedIn profile, but hopefully this video is helpful, and look forward to sharing more with you soon. Until next time.